Good evening. This is a meeting of the Ways and Means Subcommittee meeting, Subcommittee of the Revere City Council. Today is May 13th. In attendance, we have Councilors Correggio, Councilor Guanasso, Councilor Haz, Council President Novoselsky, Councilor Penta, Councilor Powers, Councilor Reardon, and Councilor Patch. We have two items on the agenda that I will assume will go pretty quickly. First is 13-086, establishment of a revolving account for the new community schools program. And I'm going to ask Finance Director George Anzoni to come up and address the committee.
Good afternoon. The reason this communication came up and request came up for the this program is because when donations are raised, they've been putting everything in a holiday celebration account, which is already a revolving account. So rather than doing that and to keep better track of it for certain things such as Revere Shines and other programs that run from these funds, they'd like to start it'd be easier accounting-wise. We started a revolving fund in order that the funds for these type of items go into this type of account, this type of revolving account. And that's why we have a request in front of the City Council. It's not going to be funded by appropriations, but any type of donations or fundraising that's made or done, those funds will go into the account. Okay? So that's basically what it's for. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Anzoni. I'm going to open
just
it up
out of breath. I ran up the stairs. Excuse me.
I'm going to open it up to committee members. Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. George, I understand that these monies are monies that are not out of appropriations.
That's correct.
Okay. And I see no problem with that. However, my feeling is that, and I feel the same way about any revolving account, whether it be for the Parks and Recreation Department or any other department, in this case the school department, that there should be a cap on the amount of monies that can be spent at any one time. In other words, let's say there's $15,000 in that account.
Okay.
There should be a limitation as to what can be spent at one swoop, so to say. In other words, you can't send in a PO for, let's say, $6,100, just for example.
Right.
So, I mean, has this been taken into consideration?
It has, and the way we've done revolving accounts, we don't have a limitation on them particularly because you never know what bill may come in. Say, for example, the celebration account is maybe a revolving fund, the money going in there. The point is you don't know what bill will be coming out of there. I mean, the amount of the bill that would be coming, invoice will be coming out of there. So if you put a limitation on it, what happens is that if that invoice comes in, it can't be paid. So now you have a problem. What do? You've expended the funds, but you can't pay the invoice. So if you put a cap on it, that's one of the things you'll have a problem with. The idea of the revolving fund, and the reason it's called a revolving fund, is because there's no appropriated money or tax funds used in it. It's still watched over as any other account in the city. It still has the same follows the same purchasing policies, and also the same auditing functions, and also the same audit trail in order to get the check issued. So as far as that's concerned, and it's also reviewed at the end of the year. It's not an account that's out there. It's an account that's also reviewed at the end of the year by the outside auditing firm when they come in and they look at the account and the expenditures and the invoices on those expenditures. In fact, they key very much on revolving funds for that reason. So what it doesn't have is it doesn't have the need to every time, and that's the purpose of the revolving fund, is it doesn't have the need to every time you have a expenditure come out of there, you have to come up before the City Council for a vote. it just makes it a lot easier to administer the account.
So what you're saying to me, correct me if I'm hearing you
Okay.
wrong, is that if a purchase is to be made out of that account,
Mhm.
it has to be, go through the purchasing agent's office,
Same thing, yes?
like any other expenditure, whether it be city monies or monies in the revolving account.
Right.
And it has to be approved in that manner. And
Right.
advertised also?
Well, it doesn't have to follow the advertising laws because the type of services you'd be looking to come out of this account isn't something that would come under advertising. It's not like you're going to purchase services and, but as far as the advertising, no, it doesn't go into the same purchasing laws as far as the advertising is concerned.
Well,
Say, for example, I'll give you an example. Say, for example, if you were going to get bands in a parade, those don't have to go out for bid. They don't even have to be 3 quotes, and they don't have to be 3 written quotes. It's just that it's the purpose of the account in and of itself.
yeah, well, I'm going to be perfectly frank with you.
Okay.
I would have a little more of a comfort zone if there were at least over a certain amount, and I don't know what that amount is, but let's hypothetically say over $1,000.
Right.
If that item had to go out for bid,
I'll get quotes or something like that.
get 3
Well-
written quotes.
What we could do is, or you could do, is when you set the revolving account, you could say that it followed the same purchasing procedure as far as the getting the quotes. I think it's 1 to 5,000. It's good business practice. From 5,000 to 10,000, I believe, is 3 written quotes, and then 10,000 above, which most unlikely to spend that type of money out of one of these accounts, because you have to have it in there first. I would tend, that would have to go out to a bid. So it'd be the same as the requirements according to the city ordinances.
Well, I would hope so, because I
Okay.
just wouldn't want to see this thing thrown out there and
Right.
anybody have the ability to do whatever they
Whatever they
wanted
want.
with this money.
No, I agree with you.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
agree with you,
Chairman.
Counsel.
Thank you, Councilor Powers. Councilor Guanasso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my understanding this is probably at the sole discretion of the mayor. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the mayor would be the individual who would determine what particular project he has an interest in.
Right, that's
So
correct.
in fact, if he likes the Columbus Day Parade for $50,000
Right.
and he likes the 4th of July event for $1,000, it's still
Right.
his discretion.
It still is his discretion, that's correct.
And in the past, when we had these particular affairs, it was the same way.
Mhm.
Only thing is, we're putting all the monies into one particular account, and
That's correct.
I don't think there's any, and I know when you're going out for bids for a band, when you ask for the BC band, there's only one BC band.
Right.
So I don't know how you're going to get 3 bids. And in years past, when we had Mr. Bonfiglio and the Revere Lancers,
Right.
there was only one Lancers.
Right.
So I don't know if we can get 3 bids on that particular thing. So
Right.
there's no practical approach to that.
Right.
I do think, in fairness to proper dispensation of all the money and proper spreading out of all the money, that just should be a dollar amount assigned to each value to each particular event, meaning that we get a lot of value out of the Columbus Day Parade.
Okay.
We get a lot of value out of the July 4th activity. So I think there should be some earmarks. But again, it's the mayor's call, it's his discretion,
Right.
and these are monies that come into our community that pretty much are sought by the mayor's office and through solicitation to the private sector. So
Right.
again, I don't see any problem with the mayor making the decisions to allocate these funds in a proper way, which we all know he will. And if we, at some point in time, see there's a need for us to intercede, I'm sure he's listening to us. He'll listen to us and say,
Right.
hey, look, how about a little bit over at this particular? So I have no objection. I think the format is good, putting all one line item, makes it easier for a chart of account activity,
Right.
and it gives us a better hold on what we're doing. Thank you, Mr.
That's true.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Guanasso. Councilor Haz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. George, how many revolving accounts do we have on the city side?
Oh, I don't know, we don't have many, actually, because each one has to, again, be, all revolving accounts has to be to the city council. I would say no more than, off the top of my head, without looking at a sheet, I'd say no more than 10.
10,
Yeah.
and they're all related to what type of activity?
Well, it depends on the type of activity. There's a revolving account down the Parks and Rec,
Okay.
and what type of activity they have down there. They have it for
Sports?
sports, yeah. They have the student activity account, which is pretty much like that's a separate law, but that's on the school side. But as I said, no more than 10. I just can't name them off the top of my head right now.
Now, these are all audited at
Yes.
year end?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Haz. I don't have any issues with this revolving account. George, just how much money are we talking about that will be in the account?
Well, it depends on how much we raise, how much they raise for it.
Yeah, do we have
So-
an idea how much?
So say, for example, well, it depends. If it's a good fundraising, it could be 5 or 10,000, 15, whatever. But if it comes to, say, like, well, the parade will be in the celebration account still, and whatever monies we raise for that will go in the celebrations account. So, in
Mr.
this
Chairman,
account,
point
say
of
5 or
information.
10,000, yeah.
Point of information, Mr.
Councilor
Chairman.
Guanasso.
13-086 was just brought to my attention. This is a revolving account for the new community schools program.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that got to do with parades and stuff?
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. That'll stay in the celebrations account. I'm saying when I refer to the parades, I refer to, say, for example, the celebrations account, which money goes into and is a revolving account. And that's how a revolving account would normally run. I was only referring to it that way. It doesn't have to do with any payments to the parade. It's just whatever functions that are coming in for this. What? Schools program. No, there's not a parade. They're two different issues. One, the parade's going to come out of the celebrations account and continue coming out of that. But when I was asked, like, what happens when I was answering one of the councils, what happens in the event that if you put a dollar amount of expenditure, I said, well, on the celebrations account, you really can't put a dollar amount of expenditure or go out to bid because of the fact that, as you said, there's only one BC band, there's only one UMass band, there's only 27 Lancers, and so on down the line. So that's why it's like the specialty things you have to look at.
And so is this for after-school programming, right? This is for
different types of
kids going,
programming,
and they're paying
It could be
after-school
something like
program?
Revere Shines. Revere Shines needs money. Instead of coming back to the council for that or looking for an account for that to go in,
Community
rather than
schools
all the
program.
accounts, all the money that be collected go into a celebration account, it gets confusing because now you have to track it through a celebration and sub-accounts.
Yep.
It's rather to put some of these into these accounts into this account, because that way there, you can track it a little bit better and keep the celebration account, which is a much larger account, and keep
Okay.
track of that in and of itself. Because that celebration account is basically the 4th of July and the
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day
Yeah.
Parade, when
Yep.
it gets,
Okay. So I'm going to move that we report this favorably out to the council. Councilor Penta.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, I'm confused on this. This has nothing to do with the mayor's direction or the city council, strictly the school is asked for?
no, the one we're asking for now is for, no, what we're asking for, it's the mayor's direction. It's, what happens is the city council, in any type of revolving
They
account,
have to
once the
create it.
money is put into the account, it doesn't have to go, and there's no appropriation that goes into it. So any
I
money-
understand the revolving account, I understand the comparison you're trying
I
to give
understand
with
that,
the...
but what I'm trying to say
parade
to you, with that idea, and
My
that's what the
question
basis
is,
of it is,
this says after-school programs, you just said it yourself.
it
what
could
is
be
this-
one of
what
those,
is
if that's
this-
what the mayor decides to use it on. I'm just saying, there's a number of things he could decide to use this on.
All right, so it's 100% the mayor's direction of this
Right.
account.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Council President Novoselsky.
we're talking the school department here,
No,
bottom line.
we're talking to the mayor. It says the school,
So-
but it's
well-
the mayor's in control of it. We're
Well,
not
why
leaving-
wouldn't the school department have control of it? If it's
Because-
money, you were talking about money like castles coming into the city, into giving money for castles to the after-school program.
No, it's giving money to, say, as an example, they say Revere Shines, they want to run Revere Shines, whatever programs they want to run.
What's that got to do with community schools?
Well, that's the title they gave to that was given to this account. It's not a title I gave.
That-
It has nothing to do with the schools
I,
as
I
far
have,
as...
I have an issue with this.
Okay.
I don't think it's very clear, and I think we have to get a better clarification on it. It's either the school department or it's
Oh,
the city.
district partnerships, okay, I was talking about, okay. We use to account for the receipts and expenditures associated with the Revere Public Schools Community Schools Program. Okay, this is under a different account. Okay, you're correct, this is under a different account. I didn't
So
see-
this is for the after-school program.
This is for this particular after-school
So
program.
this is similar to the group Castles that have their fundraiser every year would go into this account.
Yes.
Then they can expend out, and I like what Counselor Powers said about the regulations that we make them use, and I think we ought to
Right.
go by those regulations.
Okay.
Okay, so we're clear?
I'm clear now, and
We're
I'm sorry
clear.
for the confusion.
Okay.
Thank you,
We'll,
City Clerk.
we'll
Madam
report
City
this out
Clerk.
favorably to the full council. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda is 13-088. This is Robert T. Mahoney, 2 Paul Street, Revere, Massachusetts, to convey 2 lots of land owned by Rowe Contracting, lots 229 Austin Street, containing 2,783 square feet, and lot 232 Austin Street, containing 2,783 square feet, for a total of 5,566 square feet to the City of Revere in exchange for a lot owned by the City of Revere, lot number 7, Grandview Ave, containing 5,250 square feet. Mr. Mahoney.
Yes, hi, my name is Robert Mahoney, 2 Paul Street, and yes, that is why I'm coming before the City Council and Ways and Means Committee to seek permission and the interest of the City of Revere to enter into the like-kind exchange.
And I'll open it up to members of the committee. Councilor Hatz.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bob, why do you want to create this exchange with the city?
Looking to possibly make it a buildable lot at some point,
Right.
or utilize it as
And
a...
you own all the abutting property?
There's
around
there's 2 lots. There's one on either side of this piece that's on Grandview Ave,
Right.
which would combined would make it 15,000 square feet,
Which would be 2 buildable lots.
which would be, well, it'd be 1 buildable lot, really.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Any other members of the committee? No? Councilors? Motion to approve? All in favor? All opposed? We will report this out favorably to the full council in about a half hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
And that will, with that, we'll adjourn the Ways and Means Committee meeting. Thank you.